Okay, so this is a project that's been a while in the making, really. We've been in discussions with the education services at Ayrshire Council and also with Graham here at Ayr United. And it's a project which has been designed to try and resolve some problems that young people are facing within primary schools since COVID-19. Some of those are around issues of engagement, some are around attendance, some around behaviour, some around self-esteem. So it was decided that collectively we could develop a programme which was sport-based, which we could then utilise to try and help to address some of those issues that the young people were facing within the school.
So I think what the South Ayrshire Reads partnership has shown is that there's a real hook in sport. We can hook young people and children into sport, that medium of sport that brings an energy, it brings an enthusiasm, it engages young people. And I was really keen that we captured that in different ways. So Graham and myself met, but we also managed to involve UWS in this partnership as well, looking at programmes for young people who are maybe struggling with school, attendance, resilience, self-esteem. And how do we work together to develop a programme through the medium of sport that we can re-engage some of these young people in learning? So we've had some really great initial discussions, which was about looking at bespoke programmes. So in education, we can run lots of generic programmes. You might run a programme for young people who are struggling with attendance or with anxiety, but we've never really honed it in particular to the challenges of a particular year group or a particular school. So UWS have worked with young people to identify what some of the needs are within that programme and have developed bespoke programmes. And now in partnership with Ayr United, it's about bringing young people along to engage with sport within the environment. It's almost a branding of the programme within the sport environment, which has been really important. So the young people children coming in today are hugely excited. They've been down to the academy, Ayr Academy, to do one session. They're here today. You saw them outside. They're going to meet the players, but it's also about the work they're going to do is to build the skills that we know that they require for moving on into secondary school next year.
So I think it comes as part of a number of different conversations we've had with UWS, Callum, and I think you can see now the relationship's growing from strength to strength. So one of the first things the media students delivering the weekly press conference for us has been great, and there's been a lot of ongoing conversations with David and his team in the sports department about how we can work together. I think I've been really conscious since I came to the club that the community foundation here, the academy, do some fantastic work in the local community and are rightly well regarded and with the awards that they've received for it. Clearly the work is renowned throughout the country, and I think it's important for us as a club to be able to kind of add some value to that as well. So in some of the conversations, David was really keen to try and pilot a programme within local primary schools that really tried to affect whatever needs there could be of that specific school. So he worked with the staff at Dunwilling Primary in conjunction with the education services at South Ayrshire Council, and he's now halfway through delivering that programme, and we are delighted to partner with it and delighted to have the young people from Dunwilling Primary along to the stadium today to give them a little tour of the facilities here and obviously for the session to take place in the car park alongside some of the players.
No, not all of it is football, so a lot of it is just games based. So for instance, we did a netball session, we've done team building sessions. Basically we designed the session to meet the need. Okay, so it isn't just a case of let's play football, it's a case of, well, what is the issue that we're trying to address in this session and what activities would be best utilised in order to address that. So for instance, today we were doing a session on how our behaviour impacts upon others. So the activities were designed specifically to give opportunities for young people potentially to cheat or to act maybe dishonestly within the activities, so that we could then use them as what we would call teachable moments to talk about how that behaviour then impacts upon others. So we utilise it within the notion of how it impacts on sport, but then we ask questions to the young people about how that might then also impact on them in school and also in their wider lives. So it's about them being able to transfer what they learn in a sporting environment into their wider lives as well.
I think in particular for the North Ayr area, I think engagement with Ayr United is in particular has been hugely positive. I think you heard some of the young people today, this is the club along the road from them, they identify with it, they identify with the players and their family. Some of the boys I was speaking to coming in today are saying, my granddad comes every week. It's brought that sense of community, which is what particularly around about the North area needs for young people and for families as well. So that partnership working brings an added dimension to work that we would normally be doing in school. The work with UWS, for us in particular, brings a bit of research behind this. It brings a bit of the quality round about why we're doing what we're doing and the outcomes to measure. But also the other side of that is there are sports coaches who are involved in this third year university students who are able to undertake their work experience placement as part of that programme. So we're all benefiting in different ways from a common partnership, from a common goal round partnership.
For me, Callum, it's part of what we need to be doing as part of the club within the local community. So wasn't lost on me the fact that we had Jim O'Neill and some of his colleagues leaving from the Strollers group and the Honest Men's group. They were leaving the facility as some young people from Dunmelling Primary were turning up. So that is absolutely the type of club that we want to be. And when the North Stand opens next year, there'll be a great many more opportunities to do a lot of things like this. But for us as a community club, it is important that we can support really good work that's going on in the local community. I'd love to believe that we give the Academy a great amount of support in terms of the programmes that they deliver. And I think what's been great for us is to find a number of different initiatives like South Ayrshire Reeds as an example of where we as a football club can actually help to add some value to.
I think there's the connection that the club has and has had for many, many years within the community. And part of the attraction of the partnership is the association with Ayr United and the brand that Ayr United has within the community. So if I was to just do it alone, I don't think it would work as well as if we do it together, because I think UWS and Ayr United and also the local council, if we're doing things together, then we can best utilise the skills and the resources that each of those organisations has to best effect.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me that there's a local club to have a university like the University of the West of Scotland on your doorstep is great, and I think the more that we can tap into their resources, their education and their students and the resources that they have, the better. So David's brought a young student out with him today, and I'm sure there'll be some clips out of another group of students that came along to first team training today to watch how the staff actually coach elite level footballers. So it's all part of building a relationship, and I think for us it would be great to give the students some opportunities to be involved at various things throughout the club. Great for us to be involved with UWS and take on board the learning and the education and the research that they can provide as well. So for me, this programme is probably all of these things as an opportunity to really review this programme, see its value and its impact with Dunmelling, and then see how we can replicate it in many more schools going forward along with UWS and their support.
This is essentially a pilot programme or a pilot year, and we will review the project at the end of the year. So I think we finish in May, so we're working with one group and then we're going to work with the other P7 group at Dunmelling. We'll review it and see how the school found it, how the local education authority found it, and to see whether they see worth in continuing it. From that, we have to determine how best we can potentially expand the programme. Options are around maybe training our students to deliver it, or working with their community programme to deliver it, or working with teachers to deliver it in the future. For a project to be successful, it has to be more than one person going out and delivering it, because they're not going to have the time to do so. So we need to think of the best way in which we can expand it, if that's indeed what people want to do.
My vision would be is that this type of programme would be an ongoing programme that we would run across the authority that different schools could buy into. So one of the areas we're moving to very much across education and children's services in South Ayrshire is community-based support, and putting resource into communities and into school clusters and localities so that the communities are empowered to be able to make the differences and changes they need to within the community that they live in. So this work I see as central to that. It's about empowering communities to make the change themselves, but using all the partners that are available within that area as well. So I would be hoping that if this programme is successful and we can evidence the impact of that over 6 to 8 weeks, which I think we will be able to, that's an offer that's then made to other schools to engage in the same way across, whether it's with Ayr United, whether it's with the rugby club, whether we expand that out to different sports as well.
And I think as a football club, we'd probably feel that we've got the biggest brand in the town because we play in front of the most people. But I think we've seen a huge value in the partnerships that we're starting to establish now with the rugby club and the cricket club and other sports organisations. So to impact the town properly, I think we do need more resource, we do need more people, and these clubs can definitely help to provide that. So without giving away too many things, there's already ongoing conversations with the university about other things that we can do, and hopefully create some multi-sports programmes alongside these other sports clubs and give more young people access to more things in the local area. And not only do we think it's a good thing to do and the right thing to do, but hopefully it encourages more people to get involved in sport and gives them a pathway to keep playing in later life. So we're delighted with how the relationship's developing. There's undoubtedly loads more ideas that we can come up with and lots more things that we can do, and the support we've been given from Lyndsey and everybody at South Ayrshire Council and the education department particularly has been fantastic.
The challenge is that this programme is a bespoke design based on a particular set of needs. Sport programmes nationwide tend to be designed and then handed to people to deliver without necessarily an understanding of the local context and the impact that programme might have within it. So the challenge would be, how do you transfer a programme to a wider audience while keeping the bespoke nature of it? So a lot of that would be based around how we would design the resources, some data capture resources as well, and then how we might utilise our knowledge in terms of training people in order to deliver it correctly. So all those things would pose a significant challenge to its expansion, but they're not insurmountable, and there are ways and means in which we can do that. So I think the nature of the project is about using sport, but ultimately it's about using sport in a particular way. Sport itself as a standalone entity isn't enough to address wider social issues. It's about how we use sport to do that. And that's the key challenge in getting that across to people who perhaps, see sport as an entity in itself which brings real value. So we have to think about the way in which we can get that message across better.